Okay, officially recording. First off, thank you guys for making the time to get on here because we do not take that lightly. We know that a lot of y'all have families to see about, and nighttime calls could be tricky, but we recognize that a lot of y'all, it's the only time y'all could get on here. So this is our new coach call just to kind of help you get started. Help you lay down a solid foundation of what you should even be focusing on as you kind of venture into this new part of Beachbody. And very quickly, my name is Jessica. If y'all are not familiar with who I am, I just celebrated 4 years with Beachbody Saturday as a coach. I was a challenger for 21 days before that. I have twin girls that are 4, will be 5 this summer. And I stepped away from practicing veterinary medicine a little over 2 years ago and do this full time now. And it's completely rocked my world. And we'll weave in, different parts of our story. Hey, Tori. As we, kind of get you to focus on what you need to do. Uh-oh. Okay. I muted you for the echo. And then I'll let Kimberly introduce herself real quick, and she's actually going to kick us off. As soon as she finishes her little intro, I'm going to screen share so that we can pull up a little PowerPoint for you guys. So, Kimberly.
Hey guys, I'm Kimberly. Like Jessica said, for those of you who don't know me, we run Shine Bright Empire together. So we're so excited that you guys are here. And I have been coaching 4 years also. I hit my 4-year anniversary on February 19th. And unlike Jessica, I actually signed up right away. So as a coach, because I was like, oh, discount, save, yay. Had no intention of ever running a business and quit my job on February 23rd. So 4 days later, I had enough faith in this that it was going to make a difference. And like Jessica, I also do this full time. And I have 2 little girls also. Mine are 10 and 6. And we just moved into an Easter egg last week. So I'm excited to share all the things that we have for you tonight. I'm looking at my notes. All right. And Jessica and I are going to work off of this awesome presentation that she put together. So you guys just follow along if you have something to take notes or you want to take out your phone and use your notes section on your phone, but we'll also have this recorded and you'll have access to this. So we basically want to give you guys the foundation, like Jessica said, of how to launch your business. So here we go. Super easy, right? When we sign up as a coach, the first and most important thing to do is to take care of yourself. And by doing that, you're going to be able to be a happier and healthier version of yourself and be able to serve not only your family and your loved ones and your work better, but also serve others and get these tools into other people's hands. So getting to know the products is just committing to a program, you guys. Like, don't be willy-nilly jumping all over the place trying to make up your own program. We're not the professionals. Commit to a fitness program, commit to a nutrition plan. We have 2B Mindset and we have Portion Fix. So we have 2 really incredible nutrition programs that you can choose from. We have obviously our supplements, we have Shakeology and all of our performance line, our boosts. There's so much to get to know. And while you don't have to use and love everything, it is really important to know what we have access to in our library so that you can connect other people with tools. But really, we want you to commit to and fall in love with the things that are working best for you. And for me, that is following a fitness program, following a container system, and using Shakeology and Energize every single day like it's my job. You'll fall in love with the things as they start working for you. We have a small addiction to Energize in our house. We just got that earlier today. It's gone, and it shouldn't be. And through falling in love with these products and starting to get results with them and really falling in love with yourself in the process, you're going to get to be able to tell other people. People are going to notice, first of all, before you even say anything. But you get to use social media. You get to use face-to-face interaction. I don't know if Amber's on right now, but she's being a really amazing example of talking to her coworkers about what she's doing, and not necessarily like saying, do this with me, as much as she's like, hey, this is what I've got going on. So like if we're at a potluck or something and I'm kind of not eating the same things as everybody else, I just need you there to support me. And that's a really great way to spread the word about what she's doing without being pushed to your salesy, and people are watching her for accountability. And then we're able to connect others with our tools. And if you don't know how to do that yet, really you're just going to connect people like you got started, right? So you got started with a challenge pack, a nutrition plan, a program, or Beachbody on Demand. And we're going to help you, like, super simple, how to get that in other people's hands. And then we're going to teach you guys how to teach other people how to get other people started. So basically, we're a big domino effect. It's starting with Jessica and I, and then we're going to pass that down to you, and you're going to pass it down to your families, or you pass it down to people that know, love, and trust you. And we're going to have an incredible effect of health and happiness on the world, and hopefully a lot of God's love too. You're still muted.
Okay. I'm going to talk very briefly on the resources that you guys have available. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I feel like y'all have access to so much information. It's almost at a fault. I feel like things were a lot simpler when we got started, and it's very easy to kind of get wrapped up in this, like, need to know every single thing because we have all of these resources. And so I just want you to kind of know, like, it's okay to feel overwhelmed, but at the same time, you don't need to learn every single detail right now. You really just need to focus on the very simple fundamentals. But it is important for you to recognize that we do have a lot of resources with our Coach Online office. The main screen, when you log in, it has all of the up and coming news with programs and releases and events and all of those things. And if you have a question about any of our products or programs, you can pretty much find any answer with the Coach FAQ. You could type it in the little search option and it's going to pull it up. If you can't find it there, then come to the team page, plug in to Shine Bright, ask your questions there. That's why we're here. We are a team to answer those questions. If you are thinking it, then probably somebody else is thinking it as well. We want you guys to understand that this is a business meant to give you freedom. So we don't want you to feel like you have to be available 24/7 to answer everybody's questions from your coaches and your clients. That's what these groups are for. It's meant for you to be resourceful, but it's also to kind of give you that, like, ability to breathe and take that pressure off of you, that you're not expected to know all of these things. And so plugging into the team page not only gives others the ability to step up and help you, it also helps people that may be having those same questions get the solution as well. And we also have an incredible resource with Beachbody Champions through the company itself. And I will tell you, you could easily get lost in there. So the way I utilize it mostly is if there is something specific I'm struggling with, I will go and search in there and you could pretty much find a training on it. And I also really love doing their weekly action hours. So if you're struggling with, like, when you hear us talking about action hours or the daily activities, there's always a scheduled call in that group where you could sit down with somebody and walk through those activities together. And then lastly, you guys, you can find out anything through YouTube and Google. And if I'm being completely honest with y'all, I didn't really have like a sponsor. I was my sponsor's like only coach, and poor thing had no clue what she was doing. So I had some resources from her upline, but I never really had much mentoring. So I learned everything from YouTube. I would just go in there and search whatever I needed help with, and you could pretty much guarantee that you're going to find, a top coach or somebody in there that is going to be talking on that topic. Now, again, I want to stress not to get stuck on that. That is just when you, like, if you need to know how to do a placement for a new coach, you could find it on YouTube. Not necessarily like, how do I make the best picture on Instagram whenever you haven't even started talking to people yet. So just use common sense on those type of things. And then every Monday, the company does a wonderful job at picking people within the business that are doing exciting things with their business. And you have access to that through the Team Beachbody page on Facebook or through the podcast. And as of now, our team calls are going to be tentatively scheduled for Sundays, but that may shift depending on what is available to us through other coaches. Okay. So Kimberly is going to talk about the first two of the 4 vital behaviors.
All right, you guys, when it comes down to it, all of the fluff and the extra is not necessary for your business. So the things that we get caught up spending time on is doing these extra trainings, trying to edit graphics, trying to learn how to use, Canva and Photify and all of these things. And really that is fluff, that is fun, that will not necessarily move your business forward. These 4 vital behaviors are literally all you need to run a successful coaching business, okay? So the number 1 is be proof the product works. Like I said in the first slide, use your product, use your program, follow the plan, follow your nutrition, show up for your workouts, get in the community and encourage others and stay accountable to your journey, and show people that what we have is worth investing in. Like, start to finish, did you get results? Whether or not you lost pounds on the scale, did your mindset change? Are you making better habits? Are you creating better habits for your family? So that's what you need to do. Number 1 is use the products and show that they work. Number 2, share, connect, invite, follow up. This is my favorite because I love people, and I think people, we tend to overcomplicate this and make it super duper scary, but really you're just sharing what you're doing on social media, you're sharing it in person, you're talking about it with the people that you love. Hey, I'm doing this program, I feel amazing, I'm so excited, like I would love to lock arms and do this with you. Like, we're going to talk a little bit later about being professional conversationalists, because that's really what we are, is we're relationship builders in this business. And so we get to connect with old friends from high school or college or even elementary school, or connect with people that you went to camp with or something, and genuinely care about them and love on them and start to build a relationship that is going to allow you to have a hand in possibly changing their entire lives. And when it comes to inviting, we share a lot in the team page on how to do that very genuinely. So make sure that you connect to that resource in the team page. But as you're sharing on social media, people are going to start commenting. And if they don't, they might like it. And that's a great way to connect with people. We'll teach you how to do that too if you haven't started. But inviting them is so much easier than we make it out to be. It doesn't have to be this big, long, 2-paragraph situation like, hey girl, I noticed that you've been liking my posts a lot lately, and I'm curious to know if you've ever considered doing this with me. Simple, right? And with a question so that the ball's in their court. Don't be pressure, don't have pressure. And then when it comes to following up, this is something Jessica said earlier today that we've learned through a lot of our trainings, follow up forever. You can follow up with it. It takes 7 times on average for somebody to see something for them to make a decision on it. So if you invite somebody and they say no and you put them on the back burner forever and never follow up with them, number 1, were you genuine in the first place? Did you really care about them? Because they're certainly not going to feel like it. They're going to feel like a sale. And the more we follow up and reconnect with these people, the more they know we care, the more they know we're genuine, and the more exposure they get to what we have, which number 1 shows that we're consistent and it's working because we didn't quit. And number 2 shows them that we've got something that really works and we want them to be a part of it. So don't be afraid to follow up because people need to be exposed to something several times before they can truly make a decision.
Okay, I'm going to talk about personal development real quick. Yeah, I am really passionate about personal development, and I will be the first to tell you that when I first became a coach and I heard them talking about personal development, I automatically thought of that like Saturday Night Live skit with whatever his name, like telling himself affirmations in the mirror. And just like really cheesy, and only people that were really screwed up needed it, which I was really screwed up, so I don't know why I thought I didn't need it. But I listened, like people kept saying, like I listening on these national wake up calls and things like that, like people kept talking about PD. And so I recognized that I had a 30-minute commute, to work and back every day that I went to work. And so I started listening to audiobooks. And the one that made such a big difference for me was You Are a Badass. And I would just play that over and over. And then I started listening to the recordings of the National Wake Up Call on the podcast. Really whatever I could get my hands on. But that was the two biggest things in the very beginning that, I think I listened like 5 years back of National Wake Up Calls. Like I was just soaking it all up, and I figured that was time that I was normally wasting anyway. And that was the only time I was going to get it in. And so I think really wrapping your head around the potential of personal development and that it's so much more than just your Beachbody business. It led to me being so much better as a veterinarian and having more confidence in my abilities to where I was able to ask for a raise. I reevaluated my schedule. It made a difference with how I communicated to my clients, how I communicated to my husband, and now my kids. They were still babies at that point, but it's really caused this ripple effect. But it's the biggest overlooked piece, especially with new coaches, because they think it's not important and that they don't have time for it. But that is what will get you in that mindset of being able to stay with this in the long haul, and recognizing that people's response to what you're doing has absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And so my biggest takeaway is first figure out if you're an audio or a book person. What does your day look like? I love reading. Like I read over listening all day, every day now, but I did not have that luxury back then. I didn't have time to sit down on a book. I had 8-month-old twins and I was working. And so you need to get real with yourself on what's going to work. You also need to recognize what you need to work on. Are you really struggling with self-doubt and confidence? Then you ask us for recommendations on things that are going to help you move past that point versus a book that's maybe all on social media. Like it has to be personal to you. And there's so many different options out there. And it's okay to start something and not love it and give yourself permission to stop reading it. I've done that so many times just because other coaches are raving about it. If it's not doing me anything, it starts collecting dust and I move on. But I really can't stress how important personal development is. And then getting people results. Again, we kind of already touched on this, but honestly, you guys, I feel like my biggest job description as a coach is an encourager, a cheerleader. My job is to make sure that I get results first and foremost. And that doesn't always have to look like a transformation, you guys. I've been pretty much hanging out at the same place for a long time now. Like I'm in maintenance mode, but maintenance is a huge deal for people too. Most people would die to be able to maintain anything because they're just steadily going in the opposite direction. So never get caught up in that, but just focusing on yourself first and foremost, but then recognizing that by doing that, you're able to love bomb other people and just pour into them and speak that belief that somebody spoke over you for them, and then doing the same thing for your coaches. A lot of people are just so tired of failing in anything they're doing, whether it's their health journey or the business aspect. They need that encouragement. And I think that is what sets us apart from so many other things out there. We are professional cheerleaders, even though I'm as far as possible away from cheerleader in the traditional sense. And so I love that that is a part of our job description. Like, how easy is that? Okay. I'm like trying to make sure that I am on track with my notes. I feel like, is this me or you? Me? Okay. Okay. So your first, whenever you talk about like goals and anything, like if you don't have some kind of a goal that you're working towards, it's very easy to just kind of go around in circles and get nowhere. And so we wanted to kind of mention to you what are the first things that you should be focusing on in terms of like these activities. What are we trying to get to in the long run? And I remember, I mean, it was very simply put to me that your first goal is to cover your costs. And what that looks like is inviting at least 3 people to pretty much get started with what you got started with. Because it just happens naturally. I mean, that's what you are familiar with discussing with your coach. And if you come across, while inviting somebody that's close to you, come across something that maybe isn't the right fit, then you could definitely come to the team page and come to us, and we'll help you with seeing if there's something else that would maybe be better. But it all boils down to just 3 people. And I want to share with you guys, and some of y'all may have heard this already, but before I was even a coach and before I was even a true challenger, like we didn't even start the 21-day fix yet, I called my best friend from elementary school. We had both had, I had 2 girls. She had a little girl. Like within 2 weeks of each other, we lived 3 hours away, so we hardly got to see each other, and we were hardly talking because of the season we were in. And I automatically thought of her and was like, she may not be dealing with as much of like the chaos that I'm dealing with, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that she's in a similar situation as me and is probably struggling to get back into some kind of routine after becoming a mom, probably still has some weight to lose. And it would be fun to do this together. Like, I'm tired of failing. I think it would help me to have somebody that I know personally, because I didn't really know my coach, to do this with me. And so I called her and was like, hey, I'm tired of like being stuck where I'm at. And so I decided to do this crazy online accountability group with some other moms. Like, would you do it with me? And she was like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. I wasn't a coach. So I ended up connecting her with my coach. And I mean, I'm fine. Like, I was in such a crappy place at that point. If my coach would have mentioned coaching at that point, I probably would have ran away. But when I look back, I'm like, shoot, I was already inviting before I was even a challenger. And it really was that simple and that natural. She came to mind automatically because we were in similar seasons. And I recognized that not only could she benefit from doing this with me, but I would benefit from her doing this with me. And that's why I try to really help my like new coaches and even my new challengers see like the potential behind sharing this with people that are really, like that already love and trust you. Because it could help you with being accountable. We're much more likely to quit on ourselves, but we're not going to quit on our friends that are going to join us to do this. And so it really is the ultimate accountability. And so again, we're not expecting you to like go and start messaging your entire friend list on Facebook or Instagram that you haven't talked to in ages. We want you to start with making a list of 20 to 30 people that you know and love. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about like your dirt list, and it's people that know you so well that if you recommend them buying dirt for some reason, they would. And it really, I mean, it boils down to being open with them and depending where you're at, but letting them know like why you're excited about this and why you thought of them and why you would love for them to be a part of it with you. And I always like to say, like, you should act like you're having a cup of coffee together and you're just naturally talking about this like you would be. And I always use like analogies of moms, but like you would be recommending like the cocoa butter that you rubbed on your belly when you were like, I think of stuff like that because people used to ask me a lot about what I did for stretch marks when I was pregnant with the twins, but we don't even think about making recommendations about that. But we make this so difficult because we get in our heads thinking that people are going to be like offended by us to include them. And what that could translate to, and we're going to have like an actual visual of what it could look like income wise if you just help 3 people. But if you're successful in sharing this and getting 3 people started each month, then that is considered hitting Success Club. And that is just a very easy gauge for you to be able to see how you're moving your business forward. And if you do that your first 3 months, then you actually earn a free ticket to our annual conference called Summit, which is such an incredible time. And if you do that all year, then that's when you are able to earn these free trips. Like we just went on, Trey and I, to the Caribbean, the cruise we went on. That is strictly from helping people every month, you guys. All expense paid trips that are like insane. And of course, we're starting to run out of time. So I'm going to hand it over to Kimberly real quick and we'll try to speed up. I do think that some of these slides we've kind of already covered. And so hopefully we'll be able to do it before it kicks us off.
This one we're just going to go into a little bit more in the team page. We'll give you guys more detail on it, but you need to have a start date so that you know what you're inviting to and when that's happening. So Jessica and I are actually going to provide a smaller, more private challenge group setting for you guys to be able to invite your people to, and it's going to be all-encompassing. We're going to have people doing ultimate portion fix, beef buying on demand, whatever they're getting started with. We want to help you coach them. So coach you through coaching them, and we'll all coach them as a team. So April 22nd is going to be a start date to that. You need to write that down, April 22nd. So that's your start date. You're inviting to start on April 22nd. And we're going to put together automated emails to get them started with their prep. So we don't have to get all confused with ultimate portion fix prep being in the group, and some people aren't following that. So we're going to iron out all those details, help you guys through that, but know that you have a place to be coached through coaching your new challengers, and that you have an enrollment open right now to start on April 22nd. And we'll talk more about that in the team page in the interest of time.
Okay, we kind of already touched on this, you guys, so I'm not going to spend as much time as I originally wanted to. But again, whenever you come into this as just really finding the joy in connecting with people and having these conversations that in your mind are going to lead to incredible friendships, not like going into it like, oh, I hope they buy something from me. And I feel like a lot of us we tend to get sucked up in that, and we've all kind of gone through seasons where we are more focused on the sell, and nothing goes well whenever it's like that. I'm just constantly reminding myself, like, some of my best friends have come through me reaching out because of coaching. Like, I would have absolutely never talked to them. Everybody on this call, like, I would not have talked to you before coaching. There was no reason for me to talk to you. And so just being able to kind of flip that mindset and truly find a love for like people, which is really weird because I am not a people person before all of this. And just seeing where those relationships go, like, it really does take the fear out of the connecting aspect of this. And just recognizing that it's normal for people to have questions and to have objections. Like, welcome that part in, because it's just going to happen. And what I always try to remember is the hesitations I had. I had a lot of them, and I was a big pain in the butt. And my coach was so patient with me. And I'm so grateful every day that she was as patient as she was. And she just answered my questions, and, she never got offended by them. And so just remember, everybody's in different places, but objections are a way for us to simply address a fear they have.
super quick. You guys, if you're not Emerald yet, you have to go Emerald. That it opens your business center so that you start making money. Like, it's super simple. You plus 2 people. If you don't know how to sign a coach up, we can step by step walk you through it. You need to have 2 people that you know and love and care very much about to be at the top of your organization. The first 2 people that you sign up, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your spouse. Because eventually, as you start to build, they will earn income. And the people at the top of your organization are going to earn income the more that you work and the more the people under them work. So go Emerald, like, in a week. I did it in a day. Jessica's story is a little bit different, but it's absolutely possible to call up your mom, talk to your spouse, get everybody healthy, and let's do this together. And then as you go, you keep growing. And I don't want to go too far into Diamond because I don't want to make it fun and possible, because I did that in 6 weeks and it's not possible, because if you want it badly enough, you do it. But you really, as you rank advanced, not only are you touching more lives, because we can only touch by ourselves, but you're also learning how you're earning more money, because your bonuses increase as you rank advanced, and you're also earning more volume as you rank advanced, and you're adding more people to our team in this community.
Okay. Yeah, we're probably going to end up having to skip some of the social media stuff. Very briefly, I just want to say it took me a month to understand the whole like spouse account or like a parent account. And it wasn't until my now sponsor shared that she was losing out thousands of dollars a week because she waited over a year to sign her spouse. And that's when it clicked. It's essentially a second business center. And so instead of getting 1 weekly check, you get 2 weekly checks. And the more this compounds, the more that, you know, that check from somebody simply being a placeholder comes into play. And so it ends up being a significant amount of income whenever you come into this with plans of it, you know, truly doing something for you and your family. I don't know if we're probably just going to have to kind of skim over this super quick, but we just want you to know that being a coach is not who you are. Like, it's a part of who you are. But when we're sharing our story, it's very important for you to recognize that you were all of these things before stepping into coaching. And that's what you should be sharing. If you've been watching either of us, you have a good idea of like how we go about doing that. And there's different things that people could pretty much come to our page expecting to see in some shape or form outside of health and fitness. And it's why we're not selling just like a product. We're essentially selling who we are. Like, we are establishing a brand and who we're looking for. And that's what creates that trust. And so we will help you with navigating how to do this, but we just want you to know, like, that is another reason why we are different than other network marketing companies. We are not going to teach you to plaster a bunch of product on your social media to where like all your family and friend is like they're wanting to run from you. You're sharing your story, you're sharing who you are, and finding your people by doing that. And then we briefly wanted to show y'all, this is a consistency and a time thing. And I just want y'all to remember not to compare your day one from our day like 1,000 and more, because we've been doing this for over 4 years. And that compound effect is real. And it should be super exciting because those very small activities add up, and you're going to have more and more people seeing, you know, what you're doing and why it matters. And of course, we're going to end up getting kicked off. This just kind of briefly shows you that with just helping 3 new people each month, you could very quickly bring in a good amount of money, you guys. I was making $1,000 within 6 weeks by taking this seriously. If it's gonna cut us off, we only have one more slide, but I just want y'all to know that I'm more than happy to hop on for questions and answers after this. But we will be plugging in more to the team page to kind of fill in some of the things we didn't get to spend too much time on, but just remember to focus on you and get excited about sharing your journey. It's the ultimate accountability. Grab those people that you love and you want to make a difference in their life, and just recognize that it's okay to feel like you're a little overwhelmed. We were all there, but just one step at a time. We're all here for you. We're all rooting for you, and we all believe in you. So I'm really glad that y'all made it on with us tonight. And again, I'll hop back on because I know it's going to kick us off in a second. You got it.